Going on, guys? So I've been getting a lot of questions about price action, how to read price action. What are some things you guys should look out for when it comes down to price action? So I wanted to do a video covering it and what I look out for when it comes down to this. So one thing I can say is that it definitely takes price action is one of those things that just takes time to really learn, right? Because you have to put in your screen time, right? You have to see the speed of the candles. You have to be aware of the key levels that you're paying attention first and foremost. Like I'll give you guys an example right now and how price reacts at these levels, right? So, for example, on this day, I was looking for a bounce or a break and retest of this low here. The reason why is because this is one of my key levels that every time we come down into here, what happens? Buyers step in, right? So I know that if buyers step in at this level, I would like to pay attention to how price action reacts at this level, right? And if you come into this level today, this is where a lot of people get faked out or they get stopped out and lose a lot of money because there's no full confirmation as of yet, right? So what I mean by that is, look, we sold off right into the level that's already a huge sell-off, right? And we break below the level, but preferably I like to take the break and retest of the level. As it comes back to retest this level, you want to see the candle, like that's fine, right? The candle closure below it, but the retest of that level is always going to be a lot safer, right? So let's say you're reading price action, right? You get a really nice sell-off, you break below key level, and it comes back to retest this level. Notice how on this retest, this candle is already starting to get a reclaim of that level. I would like to see this candle, preferably like with a lower wick, right? At like probably like some shooting star candle for me to take a rejection off of this level for continued downside. And as you guys could see, right, it failed to hold above. And if you tried taking shorts right here, you got stopped out. And then he comes back down. Same thing, right? You never get a full close below the level, especially on that retest, right? There it is again. And there it goes again, right? You break below the level, don't close below the level. You want to get a full close below the level. Now let's look at this example here. There it is, right? You start to get some speeding up in price that you get a full close below the level and you go way, way below the level. It's not just like a slight break below it. This is a full break below it. And now let's look at the retest here. Now look at the retest here. You start to get these bearish shooting star candles right near that level in confluence with the 9 EMA. It's a lot cleaner than just a clean break, especially after a huge sell-off like this. You definitely want to be careful. Shorting at the bottom near these key levels, right? There it is again, right? Completely just held below the level. You could have entered off these shooting stars, giving yourself a tight stop loss, something like this, right? You entered off that shooting star, you give yourself a stop loss like that. Okay, now this is a great example right here. Look, you guys see the speed of this candle, right? And this is live. This is all live. So let's do a live example of reading price action of what could potentially happen at this level. Did you guys see the speed of that candle, right? The speed of that candle is, how you would read price action. So if I were to take a reject around this level, I would not want to go short here if it starts to speed up like that into that level. So this is a perfect example right now of what could potentially happen near this level. Now, let's say this comes up with a lot of speed, right? Let's say this comes up with a lot of speed. I will not be taking a reject here, even though it is a previous demand that could turn to supply. I will not take a reject there if it comes up with this type of strength and volume. There must be some Fed speakers going on right now. It's 10 a.m. But definitely, so what I would wait for in this scenario, right? This is most likely going to break above this due to the speed that it's coming up with. If were to take some type of reject, I would want to see some slowing down right here, right? And it's most definitely not. So a reject is no longer, even if a reject was a part of my game plan here, it's no longer a part of the game plan. We came up with too much strength. It would be a part, and this is where I switch to different time frames as well to see if we get any type of like slowing down in this area. Or let's see if we go to a 5 minute time frame here. All right, 5 minute candle still looks really, really strong. So what I would look for is a hold of this level. Right now, this level can hold as support, and now this level can be used for longs. Right, let's see if we have a long position here. Right, you could keep stops below that, and then target probably like that VWAP, right? But this is where I would want this level to hold. And as of right now, we still have to wait, right? We still have to wait. You'd want to get a close. So preferably if I were to go long, I don't want something like this to happen. Go above this level and then pull back and hold this level, right? For a push higher. Now, right now, there's nothing that I would want to do here yet until I get a clearer picture of what the price wants to do, right? So this takes a little bit of time. Let's see what happens right here, right? As of right now, we're closing below the level. Closing below this level, this could still serve as a rejection. For me to go long, I need to see this level hold. Or if this level continues to get weak and we get some type of shooting star hammer, let's say we get a sell-off here and then a pullback and more rejections, then we can go short, right? But let's see. As of right now, this is where reading price action comes in. So this is a great, I did this video at a perfect time because this could be a good example. See what happens, right? And then let's put two charts side by side. I want a 1 minute time frame and I want a 5 minute time frame here. Because these 5 minute candles are a lot stronger. Now we got a real close above this, right? If this candle closes and holds above this level on the next pullback, we can take some longs, right? But the speed of the candle on how it came up to that level is what made me not want to take a rejection, right? So that is a perfect example of reading price action. And this looks very strong. Like it might not even get a retest of it, but if it were to, right, let's say it does right here, this would be a great entry and this would be the risk reward, right? Something like that. So let's see if it slows down a little bit in the zone. If it holds up this demand right here, this is going to be a great example. Or longs, right? And now let's see if we have any type of confluence right here. At this area, I would enter. So let's say I were to take a trade right here. Let's just take this trade mentally, right? All right, I entered right here. I have stops below this level. I have stops below that level, and I'm targeting the VWAP, right? So I got a good entry down here. Seeing some slowing down. 5 minute time frame candle closed above the level. I want to see that level hold now. See if we could add any confluences here. Right, we have the 236 retracement. We got that 21 EMA right there. Let's see how this level holds. 5 minute time frame still. I don't like how that candle fully closed just yet, but we'll see what happens. We have the 9 EMA on the 1 minute creeping up as well. So stop loss could be like this, right? Something like that. Target that. And depending on how price action, on how I hold my winners and my runners as well, is let's say this starts to speed up on the push back up towards the VWAP. The VWAP is my target, but if it comes up there with speed and breaks above the VWAP, then now I move my stop loss up, right? Something like that. So as of right now, we still have to see how this price action reacts here. Looks like we're just got to be a little bit more patient with it. But this is a perfect example as of right now. Right, I'm looking at this on two different time frames. We want to see that level hold, right? Previous demand from yesterday hasn't really gotten a real clear retest when it broke below. And then so let's see if on the 1 minute time frame this forms like a bullish hammer, that's extra confluence. Let's say I'm in one contract right now, like I just barely scaled in, right? I add small at first, and let's say I add onto this position. Right now the stop loss still hasn't hit, still looking good. See what happens. If this candle closes as a bullish hammer, I will add my second contract. Let's see what happens, right? And this is all live right here. This is all live, like I'm not, you know. Let's see what happens right here. One. So on right here, I will add a second contract and I will keep the stop loss around that same area, right? So now I am in two contracts. Let's say that was my max position. And now let's see how this plays out, right? Let's see if we're able to ride this back up. Okay, see, this is what I mean by price action. We got some speed. We got some speed up to that VWAP. Say I had two contracts, I could trim one into that strength and hold my runner now. So now that I'm holding my runner, let's see, I would like to see a close above that VWAP, right? I want to see a close above the VWAP here. And I want to see that 9 cross above that 200 and use that as support. So if that happens, I'll show you guys what I mean, but we'll see. We'll see right now. See how this candle closes, right? We still got a minute and 14 seconds on this 5-minute candle. And I want to see some volume rising on this 5-minute candle as well. 1-minute candle volume is rising. Really, really good. Let's see if, right, where's the next key level of resistance? Probably like up here at this 433, right? 433 to 433.58. Looks like we got some rejections right here earlier. That was also the low of day from earlier, as you guys could see. Right, so that's going to be my next target for the runner, okay? I want to see this hold above that 200 and that 9 now. Even though it didn't close above VWAP here, we're still looking good. Volume still rising, right? And I'd probably move my stop up, right? Probably to this previous candle. That way I don't give back gains. But this looks really, really good as of right now. Let's see if this candle, this next 1-minute candle can close above that VWAP. Notice how the 9 and the 200 are getting closer and closer. That is what I like to see, as this will be used as a nice support. If these get a nice crossover, this is going to show a lot of strength. So let's see what we have here, right? And this is all a live example. Like, this is not like, look at the time right here. It says 10:09. Look at the time over here, 10:10 a.m. So let's see what happens right here. All right, so it looks like we're getting some type of rejection off of VWAP. Depending on the strength that this rejects with is where I will be letting you guys know if I exit or not. But as of right now, I want to see that 9 and 200 hold up on this candle for a continued move to the upside. Let's see how this candle closes. The type of candle that this is going to close like is very important, right? I would still like to see a continued hammer, right? I would want to see a hammer. If not, we'll see how this plays out, right? And off of a 5-minute time frame, my stop loss will be below this candle. So yeah, my stop loss will be below this previous candle right here, this 9, the 21, and that whole zone. That whole zone, even if it does pull back and retest it, it can still hold up. It's a respected level. Let's see, this candle closed. We got a nice buying wick with the 9 and 200 still holding up. We want to get a close above that VWAP here now, right? Let's see what happens. But price action is definitely slowing down a little bit, right? So on that second contract runner, I would definitely look to take profit up in here depending on how it gets up there. But price action definitely slowed down, right? The volume is decreasing. So that's something that I pay attention to if I'm going to hold this any longer or not, right? We're in profits. Let's see if we can get some continued strength here, right? On this 1-minute time frame, I want to see this volume rise even more, right? And I want this candle to close above that VWAP. Notice how that 9 and 200 held up very well as support, and we're starting to look like we're gonna get that crossover, right? Let's see if we do get that. But the second target is about to hit, which is this next resistance zone from up here with some speed, right? With some speed. So let's see how we react up here, right? This is coming up with a lot of speed. We could definitely, let's see how this plays out, right? We could definitely look to hold this play if it gets a break and retest of this. And we move our stop loss up now. To that, our stop loss is no longer down here. Our stop loss is now near that 9 and 200 or near that VWAP, right? But if you're happy with your gains, it's a great. If this candle closes as a shooting star, that wouldn't be great. But I'd definitely wait for a 5-minute candle closure at this point and see how this plays out, right? But the VWAP, the 9 and the 200, this looks like a nice uptrend. The volume starting to rise a little bit. The next confirmation I would need is for volume to rise on a 5-minute time frame. And I would want to get a close and hold above this next resistance here. And the next resistance above that looks like it's this 434. So depending on how this candle closes, it's a shooting star. I think it's a good area to exit. But let's see if this 9, 200 and VWAP hold up. If this 9, 200 and VWAP hold up, could be a good way to hold. But at this point, you're in profits, right? You're not giving back any gains. This is how you would hold some winners. Let's look at the 2-minute time frame. 2-minute time frame still looks solid, right? I would want to see a hammer off that VWAP now, right? I want to see that hold up, but my stop loss has moved up, right? Before it was like this, now it is like this. All my confluences is VWAP 9, 200. It didn't reject with that much speed. If this would have sped down a lot more, I would have closed out that last contract, right? But let's see if we get a hammer here. And if we can get a push. But the second target hit though, right? If you have 2 targets in mind and they hit, definitely take profits. But in this scenario, I want to show you guys how to hold a winning trade. That's a nice hammer. I'd definitely move my stops up to that level now, right? VWAP is my new stop loss. New target is this. That way, because let's say, for example, you keep your stop at that same level you entered. Look at the risk reward ratio. It doesn't even make sense. You're giving back the whole move, right? That's why you move your stops up. Let's see. If price continues to slow down at this resistance here, we will get out. But if we see some speed and aggression, let's see what this 5-minute candle closes like, right? Looks really good so far still, right? Looks really, really good so far. Right, we got 19 seconds on this 1-minute time frame. It's the type of candles that close, right? That's why the fundamentals and learning how to read candlesticks is so important, because every candlestick tells you a story, right? So now we have a second rejection at that level. I'm still keeping my stop loss right here. See how this 5-minute candle closes. But that is definitely a second rejection. We'll see how this plays out. Let's look at a 2-minute time frame. 2-minute time frame still looks good. This looks really strong, honestly, just based off of the volume here. On these smaller time frames, the volume is definitely rising here. It's definitely something you would not want to fight. Okay, now we got a clean break with some aggression, right? Now we move our stop losses up. We move our stop losses up, and I want to see this candle close above this previous resistance and start to use it as support the same way it was using it as support back over here. Now, if this candle closes below that level, I will get out of this trade, right? I will get out of that trade. But selling into strength like that is great. It's definitely still looks strong. This is a new 5-minute candle. The only thing I don't like is that the volume is decreasing on the 5-minute time frame. So that's definitely a sign for me to definitely start positioning myself out of this trade. See what this next 1-minute candle is closing pretty bearish, right? So at this point, I'm out of the trade. If it keeps going, that's fine, right? But I got 1, 2, 3 shooting stars off of that level. Definitely still looks strong. Let's look at the 2-minute time frame. Definitely still looks strong. But overall, like let's say, that overall that's a good trade. You caught it from down here up into here. That's about a what? 5-to-1 risk reward ratio. You move your stops up with it. And that's just keeping yourself safe, right? You see 1, 2, 3 shooting star hammers. It's definitely some signs of, some selling there. Some more rejections. Look at that 5-minute candle now. So after you see like some slowing down in momentum like that, right? A failure to close above a key level, that was a key sign for me to take profit, right? Even if it kept going, it's fine. You take your profits. It's definitely a good that's definitely multiple signs for me to exit this trade. Slowing down at this area, key level, which we've previously been rejected at before. And now look at this 5-minute candle, right? A failure to close on a 5-minute candle, looking pretty bearish as of right now. Look at the volume increase. Look at the volume decrease on the way up into a rejection level. And now that rejection is selling off with strength, right? That was a perfect example of riding a move up to the perfect level. Pretty much we exited at a great level there. Now this downside looks really good as well, right? This 5-minute candle closes like this. If you get any type of pullback here now into this level and you start to see slowing down momentum at this level again, your risk to reward to the downside would look something like this, right? Something like this. Try to catch it back down to like that level. Only if it pulls back into this level and starts to slow down, right? So it's important to mark your key levels, see what happens off of them. You guys can see all pre-market or all off of early morning. We got multiple bounces off this level. We fell below it. We got multiple rejections off that level. Now here we have another rejection as it failed to close above that level, right? So if we get a pullback into this area here and fail to close above that level again, right? Some slowing down in price action. It'll give you a great risk reward that looks something like that, right? So that's going to cover the price action lesson. I was doing this lesson while the market was open and a really good example presented itself. So, I mean, Yeah, that's how you would read price action. And it just takes a lot of experience, right? It takes a lot of experience, a lot of patience, a lot of everyone reads price action differently. But for the most part, it's a lot of the same stuff. So key levels, how we react at key levels. I hope you guys learned a lot from this video. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. Let's see if I stay on to show you guys how this level, how price action could react at this level, how I would react off this level. So you had some better examples to this video. Right? You don't want to get it too early of an entry too. Right? But at this point, that looks really good, right? That 5 minute candle, you could always, enter off of that 5 minute shooting star candle and keep a stop above the top of it. When it fully forms a shooting star, I like at least a little pullback, kind of like halfway. I want to pull back halfway to minimize my risk, right? Something like that. So in this scenario, it did pull back. I wanted it a little bit higher, but right, barely missed it. So no worries, right? We move on to the next trade and just stay patient. But that is going to cover the price action lesson. As you guys can see, this candle right here is definitely a lot bigger than these previous two, right? See if we get some volume here on the 5 minute time frame for more downside to these levels down here. Just went below VWAP, and same way you move your the same way you move your stop loss down from a level, I mean up from when we were on the call side, the same thing you do, right? If you're in profits, you move your stops down. I like to move my stops from, for example, in this scenario, we made a higher low, move my stop up to that higher low, so on, right? This is a high, this is a new lower high. So you start moving your stops down like that, or if you're not risking too much, the key level is another great way to manage your risk as well. But that is going to cover the price action lesson. It's best to watch price action at key levels only. You don't want to be watching price action and get caught in consolidation like this in between ranges. 5 minute time frame price action is always the best price action to watch. I was looking at it on the when it's really, really strong, 1 minute time frame price action like this is really good as well. But notice how I seen the strength originally off of this 5 minute candle close above this level. So yeah, that's gonna cover the price action class, guys. I hope you guys learned a lot from this. Definitely keep practicing price action and make sure to comment, like, subscribe. I also dropped the Market Mastery Blueprint, which covers this a lot more in depth. So make sure to go check that out, guys. Link in bio. As I was editing this video, look at that, right? Just how I told you guys, right? You would move your stops up or down in this scenario, right? Say if my stop loss was right here, I move it to the next lower high, which ended up being right here. And notice how we never broke above that lower high. Then the next one is right here, and then right here. And the price action just kept getting more and more aggressive to the downside. Look at that selling pressure. The risk reward looked something like this, right? Where it was something like that to catch and move down into here, right? Something like that, which was a 3-to-1 risk reward ratio. And it even broke below that key level, right? And it continued to sell off aggressively. Look at that 5 minute candle, sell off with strength to the lower day. And notice how that lower day gives you a bullish hammer, perfect exit, right? So that's how you catch and capitalize on a move like that. This was a perfect example of the upside and the downside of price action, right? So I hope you guys really, really gained a lot of value from this lesson. Make sure to like this video, guys.